Hi guys, welcome back to the Shannon So podcast. So today's episode is going to be a review of Love Island 2019, episode 19. So obviously today's episode, we've all been anticipating it, the recoupling. Let me just say, I was fuming before. I've calmed down a bit, but I was fuming after the result came in. But I'll get into that later on. So the episode opens with the continuing of the whole Tom and Laura situation. Obviously, we all can agree that Tom was stupid and he shouldn't have said that, but he said it, and the way he repeated it was even more stupid. Tom tries to get himself out of it by blaming the boys, trying to make it seem like he was just repeating what the boys were saying. Not that makes it any less worse, because realistically, even if you were to go with that story, you wouldn't have repeated it. You would have been like, oh, nothing, it's just the boys being stupid. You wouldn't have actually repeated what the boys said to somebody who you want to have a romantic-ish relationship with. You wouldn't relay that. So he tried to play it off as oh, it was the boys that said it, and obviously the boys tried to back him and were like, yeah, it was us. But Maura, she heard it, so she already knew he was lying, and she was calling him out, and he was trying to lie his way out of it. And then after he got caught out, he tried to apologize for it. So like I said yesterday, I kind of I don't think what he said was trash, but I don't actually think Tom is a trash individual. Like Maura said, I feel like he was just trying to be a lad with the boys. He got hyped up and was trying to get lad points. Obviously, they make up with each other. I feel like Maura was going to make up with him anyway. I feel like she kind of liked having him on edge, oh, is she angry with me? Have I fucked things up with her? Can we continue having a relationship? I feel like she was basking in that. Maura, she knows this is a game. Tom is kind of the best option right now for her. So I feel like she always knew she was going to forgive him for it. And because he was willing to apologise, she forgave him. So yeah. What do you think? Do you feel like Maura dragged it out? She was being a bit too dramatic. And obviously Tom said, she does talk. She's very open about sex. So he automatically didn't think that she would take it as badly as she did. Do you feel like Tom has a point there, or do you feel like, even though Maura is open about openly talks about sex, do you feel like that was still disrespectful for him to say? I think it was. I don't think it's a kind of double standard thing here. I feel like as a mature human being, you'd know if this is somebody that you actually like, or at least pretending to like, you wouldn't actually say that out loud and then repeat it to somebody. And especially in Love Island, word travels fast. There's no girl code or boy code culture. Everybody talks and everybody chats shit, and all the information spreads. So she was probably going to hear about it anyway. They got back together, and that wasn't really that much of a surprise. The next there wasn't really much going on that episode. The next thing was the whole big bombshell that on the house that there was going to be a recoupling, and one person goes home. So as we already see, Danny, instead of going up to Yewande first, who he's recoupled with, he goes and speaks to Arabella first, which instantly pissed me off. But at this point, I still actually thought that Danny was going to pick Yewande. My reasoning behind that was strictly because a game plan. Arabella, she's only been there 2 days. Yes, she's obviously his type. As I say, I'm pretty sure his type is tan white girls. So Arabella, yes, she's his type. But I feel like he knew going in that Yewande was a favourite. So because of that knowledge, he would have stuck with Yewande purely because of a game plan, and would have perhaps waited for somebody else to come in that would have swayed Yewande and then given him the green light to find somebody else. Because I feel like he actually wanted Yewande to break up with him so that he would have an excuse to go with somebody else. Then at this point, I'm still predicting. So my initial predictions were Danny was going to pick Yewande. That would have left Arabella and Lucy in the hot seat, and that would have been Anton's decision to make. But this is me thinking that Anton is going to be picking last, so he's going to decide who goes. Obviously, Anton does like the look of Arabella and he is desperate, so that could have been a viable option there. But he also knows that Arabella is not interested in him. But at the same time, it's a thing where, you know, he would be the only option, so therefore she would kind of be forced to at least try and make something work. And I feel like Anton would have been happy with that. So that could have been a situation where, because he did have a talk with Lucy, as we saw, and he was kind of like basically saying like, are you looking for somebody, or are you not? Because like, if you're not, then I can send you back home to Joe, kind of thing. And Lucy, that didn't surprise me at all. I know some of the Juicy stands, I know some of you are probably going to be upset, but I kind of suspected that Lucy was going to get over Joe quite quickly. She's looking for her surfer boy. Joe was nice company to have in the villa, but outside, that probably wouldn't have worked. So I think she wants to have that surfer dude, and she's had time to simmer and think about things. She's probably been weighing up the pros and the cons in their relationship and just decided, look, this is a good opportunity to me. The longer I stay, the more followers that I'll have, the more money I can potentially make when I get out of here. And also, me and Joe were probably not going to work out for very long outside the house. I might as well stay and see if I can actually find somebody. So I think Lucy is over Joe. But at this point, I still thought that Lucy could be vulnerable if Anton decided, well, I'm obviously not going to get with Lucy. I might have a tiny, even if it's just a minute chance with Arabella, so I might as well save her. So at this point, I was pretty sure that Lucy was going to be a goner. At the same time, I thought Anton would be picking last. So Danny, in his trash ass, finally speaks to Yewande. And I feel like Yewande was over at this point. I feel like she wasn't going to cry, she wasn't going to beg, she wasn't going to be like, oh, I really like you, Danny, you saved me. Like, I feel like at this point she had accepted the fate. I feel like she was hoping, or she was still holding on to hope that Danny was going to pick her. But at the same time, she had accepted the fact that he might not. And yeah, I feel like I really respect Yewande for that. Danny never liked Yewande, but I feel like he loved having like two girls fighting for him. And I feel like he actually like liked almost like torturing Yewande, like, oh, give me more affection because you have to now, and you have to give me this affection. And at the same time that I see you're really trying, I'm telling you that I'm still not sure if I'm going to pick you or not. I feel like he loved that. What a fucking bastard. And also, I've got to rate my girl Yewande for checking the hell out of Arabella. Obviously, there was that scene. Yeah, obviously, Yewande was kind of like talking about Arabella to Amber, but obviously she didn't want anyone to hear. It was a private conversation, hence the volume was low. And obviously, Arabella heard that. And then as they were in the dressing room, Yewande kind of whispered something to Amber, and then Arabella, out of nowhere, decided, obviously she was pressed, Arabella piped up and she was like, oh, can we not whisper, like everyone's feeling awkward. And then Yewande was like, it's not everyone, is it? Like, if you're just talking about yourself, then just say it's you that's feeling like shit. Like, why are you bringing up everyone? And she said it with such conviction. She said it with the quickness. She did not stutter. I have to rate Yewande for that. I could tell that Yewande was like over her. She was like, bitch, if I'm going tomorrow, I'm going to let you know. Arabella, yeah, she loves to play this innocent victim role. I see her. Like, she's trying so hard to make it look like Yewande is antagonizing her. Arabella was very manipulative, but at the same time, Danny likes white girls. So this pretty white girl comes in. She didn't even really have to manipulate him that much for him to make the decision that we all know that he's made now. But yeah, she was just kind of like telling him like, yeah, so you're picking me kind of thing. And I don't know, because at the same time, you know, I don't like her as a person. She's a snake. But at the same time, this is a game. And I feel like even if you don't like her, you kind of have to respect her hustle a bit, because at the end of the day, this is a game. But I feel like people telling like Yewande she should have stepped her game up, like this was a losing battle for Yewande. Danny does not like black girls. End of. So Yewande was always losing. So all of this, Yewande needs to step up her game. Like, I feel like Yewande knew it was a losing game. and that's why she wasn't trying. And in podcasts before, I've kind of said, yeah, Yewande should be making an effort, but now I definitely understand why she didn't make an effort, because around the time she stopped making an effort was after Maura came in. And we have to remember, when Molly came in, Danny's head was turned. He was looking like he wanted to get to know Molly. And then when Molly decided she wanted to be with Tommy because Maura came in, he backed off. At the dinner date, Danny was very interested in getting to know Maura, but again, Maura didn't want him, so what did he do? He stuck with Yewande. But Yewande's not stupid. She saw all of this behaviour, and that's why she was being distant, and I totally understand it now. She could have done everything. She could have busted it wide open for Danny, and it still wouldn't have worked. Obviously, yeah, the producers, I'm already pissed off with the producers. Me and the producers have beef. But they were doing this thing like with Danny when he was saying like he doesn't know who to choose, and you know whatever he chooses it's going to affect his happiness and all of this rubbish, yeah. And I'm thinking, I don't understand why this is even such a hard decision for Danny. Arabella has been there 2 days, and it's not even like they have this connection. It's probably just because he's into white girls. And that's just it, because all they talk about is Yewande and bitch about Yewande. They don't really have, anything of substance. It's just so superficial. And I know it's Love Island, and Love Island is just the most superficial show, if there ever was one. But it's like they literally have like the driest relationship ever. I prefer Amy and Curtis to them. So obviously the recoupling comes, and like we already know that it was gonna be between Danny and Anton. We all know that's what it was gonna be. Obviously, but I will say, Curtis and Amy, they cringe every day. But I feel like Amy wrote Curtis's speech for him to say, because after he was like, oh, I forgot the speech, I had to improv it a bit. That's so fucking weird. The reason why I'm angry with the producers, is because they obviously set my girl Yewande up. Because why wasn't Anton last? Why wasn't Anton last? So they've already set Yewande up, because now it's literally all in Danny's hands. She doesn't even have a backup plan. Because I feel like if Danny went first, picked Arabella, Anton would have saved Yewande. And I tell you why, because of that speech that they had. That speech that they had when he was basically saying like, one day we'll find somebody. And I feel like because of that heart-to-heart, he would have saved Yewande, and he wouldn't have saved Lucy because of that talk that he had. Because Lucy, she seems like she is floating. Obviously, I feel like she does want to find somebody else, but the way that she's been behaving, a lot of people in the house would probably have that thing where it's, well, she hasn't made an effort with somebody, let's just send her back to Joe. And I feel like Anton perhaps would have done that if he was last. And also, Lucy hasn't really made an effort to build alliances with the boys. She's kind of been just hanging out with the new girls, with Maura. She hasn't got really any alliances with the boys. I feel like she's not many of the contestants' favourites to have to be saved. And I feel like that's why she was crying, because she thought she was actually going to go home. And yeah, so when the producers put him to go before Danny, they put the nail in the coffin. And I'm sorry. I was trying to fight it, I was trying to be like, no, they're not going to do another black girl dirty. They're not going to do it, I had people tell me like, stop watching the show, like the show's anti-black. And I was just like, no, they're going to improve themselves. They're going to do better than they did last year. But they did Yewande dirty. Absolutely dirty, because they saved Maura. They didn't have to save Maura, but they saved her, and they didn't put that in place for Yewande. But they did it for Maura. Spot the fucking difference. And I guess you could say, well, Maura is more entertaining, but I feel like the show had redemption to do, so that just lets us know. And it's just annoying, because I've been trying to defend Love Island, but I just can't anymore. It's just very clear that they just like, mixed race, you can probably make it. So if you're light skinned or mixed race, you can apply and you could probably have a good time. But it's just very clear that dark skinned black girls, You know, if you're going on the show, you're going on the show just hoping you can get there. You can last long enough for the hair sponsorship and the makeup sponsorship. At this point, you're going there for sponsorships at this point, because the producers don't care. The producers don't care. A lot of people have said that, you know, it's not just because she's black, it's because she's boring and she didn't really bring much to the house. And I feel like, but then a lot of people, like Elma on After Sun, apparently, I didn't watch it, but apparently she said, you know, Yewande has this personality and they're not really showing much of it. And we've seen it in the show, like her personality come in, like, yeah, she's a massive goofball and she can't flirt to save her life. But she did bring something to the house, and I was just hoping that she was going to have her Camilla story. I've seen a few people mention, like, she was going to get her Camilla moment where they bring in her Anthony Joshua, her Calvin Klein model. And I was really just hoping that she did. But I feel like it's very clear now, even if she did stay, they were just going to continue doing her dirty. And I've seen, like, a lot of people just saying, like, she should just go home, like, the show isn't cut out for her. You know, she's smart, you know, she's intelligent, like, it's best if she just leaves. So, yeah, man, I'm upset for my girl Yewande, and I'm angry. Like, Danny's a fucking prick. I've got beef with the producers too, because they saved Maura, they saved Anna. They definitely could have put something in there where they saved Yewande. A lot of people are saying, you know, they should bring her back for Casa and Moore and stuff. I don't know if they will, and I feel like even if they do, it's just kind of like, you should have done more at the beginning now. But what do you feel? What do you think? Do you feel like this just proves that dark-skinned black girls should not go on the show? Or do you feel like it's just that Yewande wasn't right for the show and she didn't play the game well? And also, now that Yewande's gone, do you think that they're going to put another dark-skinned black girl in the show? Usually it's just one. Samira was like the only dark-skinned black girl last year, and she was the first dark-skinned black girl that they put in there. So do you think that they're going to put another dark-skinned black girl in the house? Danny can go fuck himself. Arabella can go fuck herself too. I'm not sure how I want the future for Danny and Arabella to go. I feel like, again, I don't like Arabella, but at the same time, like, it's a game. Like, she had to steal somebody's man. Like, she had to do that to stay in. Danny's a prick. He's a dickhead. And I hope that if Arabella is to have a long run, obviously, ideally, I'd like a vote to have them off. Like, now I can put Curtis and Amy on ice now, and if it's a couple thing, I'm definitely voting Danny and Arabella off the show. But alternatively, I think that somebody else will be brought into the house and Arabella's head will be turned, and then that will be karma for Danny, and Danny will end up going home. And I feel like to redeem themselves, the producers may try and create that. Honestly, I don't think that Danny and Arabella will last long. They talked about connection, but I don't even think Arabella likes Danny. But the thing is, but at the same time, I think she liked Danny more than Anton. And I feel like perhaps she's another person that likes competition, because if she just wanted to stay in the house, Anton would have been the easiest target to do that. So the fact that she picked Danny, even though I don't think she likes him that much, what do you think it was? Do you feel like she just preferred to be in a couple with Danny instead of Anton? Or do you feel like she is also somebody who likes competition and likes to be the girl that steals your man? What do you think of Arabella? Do you feel like she's just like a total bitch now? Or do you feel like it's, you know, the game's the game and she played it? I feel like Danny was very cheeky for even going up to Yewande after he fucking dumped her and sent her on her way. I respect the queen. She told him, you know, have a nice life, what goes around comes around, you know. Left it short, left it sweet, left it spicy. She's good, you know. I definitely would not have gone as calmly, as gracefully as she did. I would have threw drinks in the mattress, crushed some crisps in the mattress, threw some shit in the pool, all of that. So, as you can expect, there is a lot of hate for Danny today. People are not happy with Danny, understandably. after the nonsense he's pulled this episode. I've seen a few people saying that Danny did make the right decision. Do you feel like Danny did our girl Yewande wrong, or do you feel like he was entitled to pick Arabella? There is a lot of support for Yewande. A lot of people want her to come back. People are saying they should bring her back. People are saying they should bring her back for Kashmir, like I said. I've seen quite a few people say that they're not here for the way that she was kind of like spiteful at the end. And I'm really confused. Like, what were they expecting her to be like? Oh, Danny, I had a good time, hugs and kisses, good luck. I don't understand. I feel like she was even good. She kept it cute, she kept it classy, no swearing, no cursing. I don't know what more people wanted from her. And there's been like a few tweets of people saying like Yewande should have made more of an effort and that's why she's gone. But like I said, I feel like Danny was always going to leave. There's also a lot of negativity for Arabella, understandably, out of the fallout. A lot of people calling her a bitch. You know, the usual. I saw one tweet actually defending her, saying that she had the right to stick up for herself when Yewande was like whispering about her. And like, I feel like Arabella should have minded her business. Like, you two are on beef. She just tries to victimize herself so much. It's very nauseating. Another thing that I've seen on Twitter is that people are actually upset that Lucy is still in the villa. People are kind of feeling like she should have gone home. But I feel like it was out of Lucy's hands. Like, they picked Anton to go first. But I feel like, regardless of what you feel, I feel like it's unfair to kind of blame Lucy at this point because she literally had no choice. Anton was second last. He had no idea who Danny was going to pick because Danny was selfish and kept it to himself. So obviously he's not going to pick Yewande and he doesn't know where Danny's head at. So obviously Lucy is the only option to pick. So really and truly, it's Danny's fault mostly that Lucy stayed, not Anton's fault, because if Danny had been honest, because he knew already when Yewande was asking him like, you know what you want, he knew at that point he was going to pick Arabella. So if he had let everybody know who he was going to pick, Anton then could have made a decision of a more informed decision of who he was going to pick, because I feel like the producers gave him no choice but to pick Lucy because Danny didn't say anything. So yeah, Lucy's here for another week, you know, just got to deal with it. If you haven't yet, follow me on Twitter. My handle is shannonfabuloso. That's SHANNONFABULOSO. It's also in the description. Big up my girls, Yewande. I know it must have not been easy. She probably felt very self-conscious being the only like dark-skinned black girl there. She probably was feeling all sorts in the villa, especially with, you know, knowing that she could potentially not be picked and knowing that the show is, you know, known notoriously for not being favourable for dark-skinned black girls. But, you know, having to go in there and essentially like hold the torch. So I can respect Yewande. You know, I don't think that she could have done anything to save herself. I feel like Danny has a type. Yewande wasn't his type, and he was always just going to end up leaving her. So I don't think there's anything Yewande could have done to save herself or given herself better chances. Again, the producers did her so dirty. They could have saved her. So I don't think the blame is entirely on Danny. I feel like it's like 60-40, 60 Danny, 40 the producers, because like I said, the producers saved Anna, they saved Maura. They easily could have saved Yewande. And I don't think they're going to bring her back either. Obviously, next episode, Amber and Anna are very upset. They were very close. I felt really bad when they were crying. And I feel like they're kind of like checking Danny. Because Danny's there laughing and smiling, yeah. Being very smug. Like, he feels like he's on top of the world because he's got Arabella. And Arabella isn't that much of a prize to be fawning over. Especially when I'm pretty sure she's going to leave you. So, Danny is feeling very confident next episode, so I'll be interesting to see. I hope Amber and Anna read him for filth. So I guess we'll see tomorrow. I am very upset. I am very angry, But, you know, another day is another day. What was meant to be was meant to be. It wasn't meant to be for Yewande. And I guess I don't think they're going to bring another dark-skinned black girl in there. So, you know, thank you, Yewande, for representing. Until next time, guys. Bye.